Welcome to Andrea's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making wet burritos. Today is going to be actually a chicken wet burrito. I am really excited to get started. First of all, I wanted to show you a couple of things. With making your wet burritos, you can have some of your ingredients on hand, like I say I always have. You can have your own pinto beans, black beans, whatever you prepped before, your own rice, so that making the wet burritos is not as time consuming. Today I'm going to be actually using black beans, a can of black beans. Feel free to use whatever you choose to put in your wet burrito. So I'm going to put these back in the freezer, but I did want to show you how I do this. Okay, now I'm ready to get started. First I'm going to start with my black beans. I'm going to leave the liquid in, and I'm just going to put everything into my pan. And I have all my burners on right now, and I'm just going to go ahead. I love black beans. I usually make them fresh too, but I do not have any made. So I'm going to go ahead and put these black beans right here on the stove top and let them slowly heat up while we're cooking the rest of our food. I have my pan with a teaspoon of oil, and I used my garlic infused oil that I did myself. So I just put it in with my chicken. Chicken I cut up into small pieces. It's just marinating in some lemons and some salt and pepper. That's it. The lemon's going to give it a really nice citrusy, little bit tart taste. It tastes great with beans and rice and sauce over your burrito. Basically, a wet burrito is just a burrito with either a red sauce or an enchilada sauce. I love this enchilada sauce, and I do enchilada sauce many different ways, but this happens to be one of my favorite ones that I make. It's a very easy, fresh one that we can make. My oil is ready for my chicken, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. I'm going to go ahead and put even the lemon juice in there. Fantastic. This is how I want it to cook. Just going to throw that away. I'm going to give my chicken a stir. And I'm just going to go ahead and let it go, just like I'm letting my beans go here. We're going to make the enchilada sauce for the wet burrito. I also have my rice unthawed, and I have it in my microwave, so when it's time, we'll go ahead and assemble, and I'll pull that out. Just going to give my chicken a quick stir. Okay, it's looking good. Looks a little plain, but that's okay. No worries. It's going to have a good flavor. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and measure out 3 tablespoons of my garlic infused oil. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. I'm just going to stir my chicken. And I have my heat on medium heat right here for my, I'm going to call it my enchilada wet sauce for my burrito today. Here is also 3 tablespoons of white flour all-purpose. There is 1 tablespoon of chili powder. I am going to use chipotle and a mild California chili because it's going to be a little bit spicy, but that's the whole flavor that's going to just make your burrito taste great. I didn't put a lot of salt and pepper in anything else I made because this is going to be what we're going to use. Okay, so you can traditionally go ahead and just dump your chili powder sauce here onto your flour, and then you can put them both in at the same time. Basically, you're going to be doing your roux basically for your own gravy, basically enchilada sauce. That's kind of how I always say it. When you make it from scratch, it looks like a gravy, and you're like basically using a roux. So basically what you're going to do is just let this all infuse and cook it together and let it come to a little bit of a boil. Just where it's automatically bubbling. Your heat is hot enough. It has to be hot enough to just basically cooking your flour with your chili. Just keep stirring it. If you don't keep stirring it, it will burn. But this is really easy. In the time it takes us to do this fresh wet sauce for your burrito, everything else will be heated and done. Okay, and I'm just going to do this for about a minute more because I like mine really well cooked in. I'm going to multitask and just stir my chicken for a second. My chicken will be done in just a bit. And then what I'll do is take my chicken out of the pan and, you know, probably give it a rough chop just before we make our burrito. And that way we'll have a little bit smaller pieces and it'll taste terrific. So basically, this is ready. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in my 2 cups of chicken stock. And I'll list all the ingredients in the description box. I'm also going to put 1 can of tomato sauce. This one has garlic in it because I wanted that flavor. And then I didn't add any fresh garlic this time because I want you to see you can make your sauces any way you please, any way that your family or you like, you know. And if you experiment, it's not expensive. And it tastes delicious. So I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of oregano, and I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of cumin. And like I said, I'll put all the directions on there because 1 is a tablespoon and 1 is a teaspoon. But when I have all these ingredients, sometimes I confuse them, say them backwards. But I'll list everything right there on the description box for you. Okay, so I'm just going to let this sit here for a few minutes and it's going to start to thicken. And that's going to be your wet sauce for your burrito. Okay, so I'm going to check my chicken here. My chicken looks good. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let it sit there for a minute. I'm going to check my beans. And I like the juice of the bean. I can strain it out myself if I want to not get any in my burrito. But it really doesn't bother me to get a little bit of juice because I feel it just flavors everything. But basically what you do is just take your spoon and just let it sit like that and the juice will drain, and then that's how you would stuff your burrito. Okay, I started my chicken because I wanted to get everything incorporated. Now what I'm doing is just getting a little bit of brown on it, and we are almost done with the chicken. A little bit of brown and we'll be good to go. Okay, enchilada or the wet burrito enchilada sauce is thickening and smells delicious. Absolutely delicious. And like I said, experiment with it. It's really easy. The only thing I could say is if you're not really big into spice, instead of a tablespoon of the chipotle and the California mild chili, and just use a teaspoon instead of a tablespoon. So I'm going to show you. This is what I'm using. I'm using spices. So you can go ahead and you can just use a teaspoon. You can always add a little bit more heat at the end. But to me, it's not too spicy. I believe most people would say it's fine. You have to have a little bit of spice with your Mexican food. And it's going to go over the top, so you don't need any salsas or anything like that. I'll be garnishing with cheese, probably Also, some sour cream and guacamole. Your preference. Okay, our sauce is thickening real well. And I am just going to take a stir. And then I am going to go ahead and show you what this looks like. It looks great. Smells good. So I have already little chunks there. And like I said, I'm going to do a rough chop. So I have even smaller pieces in my burrito. This would be fine for me, but smaller pieces are just as good. I'm going to turn off my heat for my top burner there. Oh boy, the enchilada sauce is thickening real well. Starting to get thicker, so we're good. I'm just going to let it just sit here. Smells delish. I love red sauces, enchilada sauces, whatever you want to call it, because that's one thing nice. When you make the sauce, you can call it anything you want. And you'll feel really proud of yourself too. It's a great feeling to make a sauce that you really like, because sometimes the ones in the can at the store, to me, they're too tart. They're a little too hot. They don't have too much flavor. It's just heat. I want something that has a lot of flavor. So that's why I like making my own, because I feel that I can put the flavor in that I like, the one spice that I really like, and boy, it sure makes a difference in your dish. I'll also tell you something else. When you pre-cook some of the things, it makes it a little bit easier, but if you don't have time, do you see how nice and easy this is? You'll have plenty of leftovers for another dish, for a lunch dish. Like I can make, probably with everything I have here, I can make 4 nice sized burritos and probably have a cup of food left over. So this is something really nice to make, and then you don't have to keep it in a burrito. You can take it out of a burrito. You can put it into a bowl. You can serve it on a plate. But mine today is a wet burrito. I'm putting everything in. That's what I love to do. And it tastes delicious. Okay, sauce is almost done. So I'm going to probably use that much chicken in my one burrito. My beans are already heated through. Really nice. I'm going to just touch them. Yep, hot to touch. I'm actually going to turn my stove down too, because it doesn't need to be that hot. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my black beans and I'm just going to put them like that, so they're not just sitting in the bean juice, but I love the bean juice flavor. Okay, so basically we are ready to assemble. Okay, I'm going to turn my burner off all the way, so while I'm assembling, I don't burn anything. I'm just going to heat my rice for just a minute. I also got some tortillas that are burrito size. Normally, if I did not have a liquid on my burrito, I would go ahead and toast it. But today I'm not going to toast it because it'll just make it tough. So what I'm going to do is just barely warm it in the microwave just so it's hot. And like I said, I'm going to put all this wonderful wet sauce on it. And you wouldn't be able to tell, but like I said, when I make regular burritos, I do toast my burritos, put them in a pan, the tortilla, and just let it get a little bit of char on it. Tastes really good that way. Okay. Don't have to heat it too much. Okay. That's good enough. also going to pull my wet or my cool ingredients out of the fridge. Basically, I have some tortilla cheese, and I have some regular cheddar and Monterey Jack, and I've got some avocado, and I have a little bit of sour cream here. And you can garnish this way if you choose. So basically, that's perfect. Okay, I'm gonna start assembling. I'm gonna go ahead and get some rice down. And I made a Spanish rice. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to put my chicken. Because I like when the bean juice drips onto the chicken. It tastes absolutely excellent. I don't want to stuff too much. You know, I always tell you I'm an overstuffer. I put more than I actually need in there. Oh, and now this is where I'm going to pick the black bean back up and also put a little bit of juice on there. Turn that burner off. So that's what my burrito looks like. It's a nice hearty burrito. Chicken, rice, and black beans. Now this is what I'm going to use this cheese, and I'm not going to put anything else in. And I'm just going to roll this burrito nice and big and fat like that. It's all incorporated and tucked. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sauce and I'm going to drip it all over here like this. And I want a lot of sauce on this burrito, because this is what you're going to use to just flavor your food. And then I'm going to take a little tortilla cheese, and I'm going to sprinkle it. I like this cheese because it has a salty aspect to it, and then it also is just, oh, it just melts. Not as fast as other cheese, so I just love it. So basically, this is how I'm going to serve the burrito. And if you don't like these things, don't put them on. There's days where I don't put anything on, and I'm kind of plain. And then there's days where I want to put everything on. So basically, this is my chicken wet burrito. And I just serve it like that. And this will go straight to our plate, or straight from my stovetop here to our dinner table, and that's what we'll have for dinner. So basically, I hope you enjoy my chicken wet burrito. Really easy to make, really delicious. You can make it with canned sauces, or you can make it from scratch. If you like the content, would you please like and subscribe? I want you to enjoy your wet burrito, and thank you for coming in and cooking with me, Andrea.